When Graham Lowe's mentioned at the 2017 RTF conference that Ben Allen Transport was getting one of those Chinese trucks for livestock work, we got very interested. We wanted to see how the much talked about Sinotruk 540 horsepower would be suited to a true Kiwi trucking challenge. Months later, after a new Fruhoff 5-axle trailer and deck has been built and new Delta stock crates fitted, we finally get to meet up with the truck in question as it heads out of Napier onto one of New Zealand's most challenging roads, the Gentle Annie. This mountainous route between Hawke's Bay and Taihape should certainly test this Sinotruk to its limit. We drive into UTR station to pick up a load of lambs being brought down to a farm near Havelock for finishing, the load bringing us up to around 44 tonne, so a good load with some great hills ahead. It's fair to say that Trevor's been critical of some of the Sinotruk product he's driven previously, so he's interested to see what this new model has to offer. It's one of two prototypes brought into NZ for evaluation, so it'll be interesting to see what's different and how the brand is evolving. Trev climbed into the driver's seat on the Taihape side of the Gentle Annie Hill for the drive east. First up experience is great with excellent cab entry. 3 well-spaced, deep and wide steps with grab handles on both sides of the door opening offer good support all the way into the cab. Once into the high roof sleeper, it's certainly a European-looking interior. The driver has a full air suspension seat, very similar in look and feel to an Esri, and certainly very comfortable. There's excellent adjustment in the seat and steering column to set us up for a comfortable drive. This model is fitted with a 2-pedal 12-speed AMT, so there's no clutch pedal, giving plenty of room to stretch out the left leg. We're very impressed with the ride and quietness inside the cab. We can easily maintain a conversation with no need to raise our voices, except maybe when the engine's fan kicks in. There are good air vents throughout the cab, supplying a good flow of cool air for the driver and passenger. Storage is well catered for, with 2 very large above-screen storage cupboards, and also an additional storage unit between the seat, as well as a fridge drawer under the bunk. Mirrors are well positioned with flat and convex mirrors mounted in a full housing, as well as a front offside mirror, which is very handy on stock work when negotiating tight yards and avoiding posts and other obstacles. Both rear mirrors work well, with the convex one offering good vision down the side. Almost immediately on the drive, we're into hill country, Trevor using the AMT in manual mode, as he gets the feeling that self-shift is a bit slow and this hill is not going to be forgiving of that. We're told by Sinotruk GM Alan Bates that he believes they can significantly speed up the shift, making it more suitable for the NZ topography, and a technician is already onto it. We drop over the top on our first ascent and Trev drops the box back to 7th, running at around 40 k's an hour, using both the engine brake and the retarder. We drop down a long, steep slope without having to resort to the surface brakes, and Trev's impressed. On the first major climb, we drop a couple of gears quite quickly, then have to take multiple downshifts to 5th gear before it bites in for the climb. We make the climb in 5th, running at just under 25 k's an hour. These are steep, long climbs with some good tight corners thrown in to really test a truck's power, and it handles these well in the right gear, with a bit up his sleeve for the extra tight corners that drag back the speed as we pull up the 5-axle trailer around them. As we hit each of the climbs, we have the same quick drop in gears, partly because the shift is a bit slow, thus causing a drop in speed on each downshift. However, it's hard to get a true feel for the engine performance, as the AMT tends to mask the torque of the motor compared to a manual, where you can let it lug down by holding a gear. We certainly wouldn't recommend late shifting with this box, but being early on the shift, Trev finds a fully loaded Sinotruk handles these hills very well. The engine is rated at 397 kilowatts, 532 horsepower, at 1900 RPM, and 2,500 newton meters between 1050 and 1350 RPM, which is comparable to other similar engines. Steering is very good with a light feel on the wheel, but also giving good feedback. It's easy to position the truck on the road, maintaining a straight line with no need for constant correcting. In fact, on this very windy road, it's certainly quite relaxing to drive. There are several bumpy sections of road and some off-camber corners, but the ride inside the cab is well insulated with no noticeable bumps coming up through the cab and no cab roll on the corners. Thus, it's a very good stable ride. The Fruhoff trailer tracks well, and with a load of lambs on board, it sits nicely on the road. There are a couple of single-lane bridges with reasonably tight entries and exits, but the unit's easy to line up and the trailer follows through nicely. As we run back into Oamahu at the end of our run, we have to admit to being impressed with this truck's performance. As Graham Lowe says, it's not a 600 horse Kenworth, but at the price, it's a worthwhile compromise. And if it delivers reliability and at a reasonable cost of operation, it is a worthwhile investment. Time will be the greatest test for this truck, and we look forward to hearing what difference the upgrade of a gear shift will make to the drivability of this truck and its suitability for NZ conditions.